listening to the Mark Bradford Alchemy for Life podcast.
The holidays are really going to mess with you. Well, hey there. We talk about time, energy, and resources all the time. We talk about the 5 facets of life. And we talk about balance, which is what this whole thing is supposed to be about. But we haven't really talked about it in a while, have we? So I'd kind of like to put the focus back on balance because something is coming really soon that's going to mess with it. The holidays. You could just hear that colon, couldn't you? The holidays can be a wonderfully unbalanced time of year. According to the Pew Research Center, about 90% of Americans celebrate Christmas, with about the same celebrating Thanksgiving. Don't forget New Year's too. If you're not in that group, you can still learn from what I'm about to say because it applies to any gatherings of a seasonal nature. The aforementioned holidays all happen in essentially the same month-ish span of time. That's some pretty concentrated celebration, right? I mean, during the year you have your birthday and some other things and other people's birthdays to go to and people's anniversaries and even weddings and so forth. But every year we cram in pretty much 3 huge holidays all in about a month. And it all happens at the same time that most of the country experiences winter. Pretty intense distractions and influences on how you manage your time, energy, and resources. The automation of balance. As I said in the automation of balance, you're constantly seeking equilibrium. I mean, and this equilibrium can take the form of many adjustments to how you work, how you play, where you go, and what you spend your time on. When new influences are introduced to you, or existing ones flex and change, you do as well to compensate. And as I said in my posts on balance and transition, you will find ways to adjust. Sometimes you will adjust well, sometimes you don't. And sometimes the influences go away and you continue to adjust to them. You adjust to something that doesn't exist anymore. Let's talk about the holidays. They are very large, temporary, annual forces that are exerted on your balance. The holidays bring a marked increase in socialization, changes to your diet, and your resources. You probably really never thought about that. I mean, perhaps you think about eating all the rich food and the weight you gain, or fight not to gain during the holidays. But there's a lot more to it than that. So let's create an awareness you can use. I'm with you. And let's give you some tangible takeaways as always. So, here's what to expect and be aware of as you're going through the holidays. Let's start with time. The holidays can really mess with your schedule. You may have to deal with days off, and in some cases, those days off come at an inopportune time for you. I mean, the holiday days are mostly set, but what you do for a living is sort of flexible. And here this off time or on time comes right in the middle of something. You may have to deal with a gap in your schedule that messes with your ability to reach other clients or prospects. Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving, and even Black Friday are probably not the best days to reach your client. You may deal with a surplus of time, in which case it may disrupt your flow on what you do. Seeing family or friends that are out of state or in another city can be a commitment of time and a schedule that's usually chopped up into small slices. If you have kids, then you may have to attend a number of Christmas plays or winter break festivals. How much extra time does it take to write the Christmas cards or decorate a house or purchase more decorations? I mean, maybe you're someone who is a very kind person who participates in Feed the Hungry or one of those other programs. That's an investment of time. It can recharge you emotionally and fill your tank. And remember, things are a give and take. But your time will take a hit and it'll be messed with. Let's talk about energy. The holidays can be a great draw on your energy. You are a rare individual if you solely gain energy from the holidays. I'm not saying it can't be a wonderful time to recharge with family and friends, but the reality is that you're going to probably give a lot too. If you host a party, the preparation, planning, cooking, inviting are all things that draw from your energy. Wrapping presents, putting up decorations, planning a menu, cooking the Christmas goose. It's probably some other animal. Who has a goose anymore? Energy just doesn't mean how many boxes you can lift or how long you can stay awake or how long you can be on the treadmill. We're humans, and we have emotional gas too. A lot of what you do in your life is powered and dependent on your emotional gas tank. It takes a different form of energy to deal with the family at a Christmas party than it does to deal with a room full of peers or prospective clients. Or it can. Dealing with varied personalities, some of which are difficult or antagonistic, with delicious alcohol involved, can create an entirely different drain on energy. As I mentioned in time, you may also have to deal with seeing friends or family in another city or out of state. It also takes energy to write out the Christmas cards or the Christmas letter. Don't write one of those, please. The possible weight gain from the rich food will affect your energy level too. You may be one of the millions that joined a gym in January because you made New Year's resolutions right after you ate a bunch of really rich food for 2 months straight. Think that is disruptive? You bet. Let's talk about resources. Clearly, the holidays can be a drain on resources. You might be the rare person who nets a Christmas bonus. Otherwise, you're in the majority of people who expend a lot during the holidays. And by expend, I mean spend. Paying for a big party, buying presents for your family, nieces, nephews, your kids. Very real, tangible expenditures. Buying new Christmas decorations because those lights don't last forever, or you have to have a real tree, or this year something else is in, you're spending money. Don't forget the cookie exchanges, the always bringing items for a party, or even a work party. Your kids may even need new outfits for pictures or the play at school. When it comes to presents, a lot of people wake up with the financial hangover in January, and credit card companies capitalize on that fact. I'm obviously not saying you shouldn't spend money or spend the resources if that's what you do. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is just be aware of it. Just be aware of the fact that suddenly it's expensive. And as a side note, I want to mention something about the thought that counts, because sometimes I think this is really lost in translation. So the concept of the thought that counts when it comes to presents is that, well, you thought of me, that's nice. No, there's so much more to it than that. And you would have a lot less stress in present buying if you really took that to heart. So the meaning of that, at least as far as I'm concerned, is that you really sit down and think about someone. You think about, well, what would really make them happy? What would bring joy to them? Not what would prevent fear of missing out. Not what would everyone look at them and say, wow, that's really amazing, they got that. No, what really would make them happy? And in some cases, it's something really esoteric, like, that's a really weird brush that I had to order online from Brazil, but I know you really like that for painting and you mentioned it a long time ago. Or some other odd thing that may not even be expensive. Maybe it's an experience. Maybe it's just you take off of work early one day and you put that in the card and say, here, you have me for half a day for whatever it is you need. It's the thinking about what makes someone happy that really is what these kind of holidays are all about. That's where the joy comes from. That's where the happiness and the giving comes from. Sometimes it manifests itself as a brand new car. But in a lot of ways, sometimes it manifests itself as something a little bit more simple. So just think about that when it comes to it's the thought that counts, because that's where that really has meaning and value, at least to me. And it's the thinking about somebody in March for their Christmas present that makes all the difference in the world and can put things off of your shoulders as well and reduce your stress. So thanks for the sidebar. I appreciate that. So now that you're aware, just keep these changes in mind. Just going forward, and I scheduled this for today so that you listen to this before Thanksgiving and all that other stuff kicks in. So just think about this when you're extra stressed and you feel extra tired and you feel extra broke. It's normal at this time, and it'll pass. Just flex with it as much as you can, push back on it as much as you can, and just understand that, this happens every year. And I hope you're well, and I hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Take care. Oh, yeah, one last thing. My book, The Sword and the Sunflower, will be out very soon. Please check it out on Amazon. I'd love for you to read it. Hey there, thanks for listening. I always appreciate your feedback, right? Well, here's your chance. You can connect with me on Instagram, via the Alchemy for Life site, or most other social media. If you like this podcast, you may love my new book, Alchemy for Life: Formulas for Success. The 239-page paperback is available on Amazon and everywhere else you get your books. All this info is available at Alchemy for Life. Thank you. See you next week.